sure that Nissan. Okay, thanks, bro.
A confidential source has been feeding authorities real-time intel about a drug ring on Chicago's West Side. He's on the block while undercover officers make buys from 2 of their targets.
This could go on for 2 or 3 months, build cases on these guys, and eventually shut down the whole block.
It's part of a sheriff's police operation called Game Over.
Today was huge. We know we can get buys out of there easily. We'll get the guys we need to be transactional and on tape, and then the whole thing will come down.
He was out there?
Yeah.
And they all had... He?
But investigators find their informant, Roosevelt, already slipping back into bad habits and getting high.
You get any sleep last night?
A little bit. I'll be going to sleep about 3 in the morning.
You took a weed nap recently.
So both of these put the coke out there, and the heroin comes from him. Where does the weed come from?
You want a cigarette or something? You gotta wake up, man. We don't have to stop boxing there.
Man, I'm decent, I'm sure.
I'm saying, man, pile drive.
Your reaction time is very slow right now.
You on pause right now, man.
You ask him a question, it takes him 2 minutes to respond. It's not good. We gotta go. We gotta keep moving. Who's this? Who's that? Who's going where? Who's wearing what? You can't be out there halfway. You gotta be all the way ready.
I think part of what you saw today was nervousness that he knew we were on the block making buys. So if something were to go bad, maybe he thought he could somehow be found out or something like that. After it all went down, he probably needed to relieve some stress and said, man, I'm gonna go get high. You know, and we had a long conversation with him about that when we dropped him off. That's not part of our agreement. If you can't follow the rules, we don't need you, period. You can't trust him 100%. Who's the up-and-coming guy in this group? Who's the guy you see with some ambition that maybe wants to be up here? How loyal do you think he is?
He'll talk.
Knowing how quickly an informant can go astray, investigators Drake Carpenter and Adrian Sandoval already have a backup strategy in play. They've begun gathering intel from another confidential source on the same block, unbeknownst to Roosevelt.
It's checks and balances. Neither of them know each other, but they know of each other.
Oh, we got 2 guys that are gonna be looking at each other without knowing what the other one is doing. You know, we got an eyeball on the eyeball. It doesn't get better than that.
And there's potential to recruit even more informants for Operation Game Over. With hundreds of new detainees arriving at County every day, someone from the target block is bound to show up. That's when authorities will put the squeeze on them.
So you said that, man. That's a hot spot. That's my partner, Carpenter. What up? That place hot as fuck, man. Who else you know from over there? Anybody?
Yeah, I know everybody over there, man. Everybody.
Hey, all both sides, there's a lot of going on over there. And there's a lot of these big ones hanging out in that area, too. I'm just saying, you get... I know, but you can freaking make some paper on that. We always need guys from certain areas to get some of this. We know you can't work. Go out there and hustle, you're gonna get popped. Or you can get paid for us. It's a tough spot, man. He was a little reserved at first. We threw a couple names at him and he was just stuck. He says, man, you guys know everything. I said, no. You know he's out there. Well, I'm sure he's gotta be under charge somewhere. These guys are always coming in and out.
Drug rings are a dime a dozen on the West Side. Nearly every block within a 60-block radius has its own boss who's selling narcotics. That means the area is a magnet for law enforcement, and investigations are bound to overlap.
You have other agencies that are also running cases, not going after the same targets that we are, but they're running parallel cases maybe 2 blocks over.
The Chicago PD and FBI have been building their own sting operation for months. It's no secret to the sheriff's police, who just started Game Over. But now, the feds announce that they're ready to make sweeping arrests, and the timing takes the sheriff's police by surprise. It'll be much more difficult for them to do undercover work once the other agencies heat up the neighborhood.
So, whereas if, I rolled out and was able to get it just like that, now they're going to start looking at me a little bit differently. Is he the police? Is he this? Is he that? They might start questioning the buyer more.
So the sheriff's police decide to put Game Over on pause.
We're going to just, hold off for a little bit, and then we'll go back and start making some more buys.
That leaves their main informant, Roosevelt, to his own devices. The risk is, if he's like most informants, he'll have a hard time staying motivated without a paycheck.
When guys are calling you every day when they get out, it almost gets on your nerves in a way, but in another way, you gotta be glad that they're calling you. So then it'll go to every other day, then it'll go to every 3 days, then it'll go to once a week, then it'll go to once every 2 weeks. Then you know you're losing them.